Hey guys, in 2018 I spent 6 months traveling through South America. I didn't plan on documenting my travels or making any videos, but what I've done is I've gone through my phone and just pieced together some clips and stuff to try and put it into a video for you guys. So I went to Mexico City. I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time in Mexico. I'm Australian, so my knowledge of Mexico primarily comes from the US. And I was half expecting donkeys in the street and lots of sombreros. So I flew in, and the first thing I saw was a stray dog looking for food at the airport. Okay, now I've done a lot of traveling and I've been through South America before, so I'm familiar with old buildings being painted in bright colors. I stayed in the center in a really cute Airbnb. The only problem was the second day I was there, the ceiling flooded. Dogs at the airport and broken plumbing were my first two impressions of Mexico City. The owners were amazing though and sent people over to fix it straight away. One of the first things I noticed when I walked around the city was the traffic. Basically, people just drive however they want to drive. Or in some cases, they don't drive at all. I saw a lot of broken down cars. I went to the historic part of town and saw some really impressive buildings. Like I said, I don't like to research before I travel, so I couldn't tell you the names of these places. This church had a cool glass floor where you could see the original cobblestones below. Lots of really narrow streets and some typical tourist performers. I did a search on Instagram for places to see and it suggested this public library with a cool skeleton display. I checked out a few other buildings and this really interesting pagoda type thing. People just danced under it. Honestly, never in my life have I seen people in Australia just dancing in public, but it happens a lot in Mexico. One thing that struck me was how pretty the center was. Everything was green and clean and really well maintained. I went to this nearby park and they had a lot of street vendors. One of my favorite things was the super green lake, and they provided public hammocks. In this park there was a hill with a castle on top. Again, I'm really clueless about the history behind it, but I assume it had something to do with the Spanish invaders because there was some really messed up portraits. There was this stained glass room that was really amazing too. It was super hard to get a nice photo because it was just so busy. I went to the restaurant and I saw this as well. I really loved my time in Mexico City. I was there for about 8 days. I don't speak Spanish, so I did struggle a little bit. But one thing I did notice is there was like a different sort of like cultural feeling in regards to the way people socialize. People were out like just in parks and just out doing their thing. In Australia, we don't really have that sort of community feeling as much. I also did notice that there was like a really big divide between the nice parts and the not nice parts. So there was always like that sort of conflict between the two. I think I was in Mexico City for about 8 days, and like I said, I really loved it. I made a video about my trip to Cancun already. I'm gonna go back and do the same thing for Ecuador and Colombia and Brazil, and share with you guys my travel experiences. Okay, thanks.